today I'm here to talk to you from an investment perspective. Forget about what I've done as a filmmaker. I am here with my investor hat on and telling you exactly why I and others see opportunities in Hong Kong for the international marketplace. So I run Phoenix Waters Productions, and the intent has always been, what can we do to build bridges between the East and West, which is a mantra I've realized I say in virtually every interview, and today I want to explain the context for that. So my passion growing up has always been Hong Kong film. It's always been the greatness of the films like John Woo, Shui Hark, and so forth. And what I realized a few years ago was what happened. You know, you're making great movies still, but we're not really talking about it in the US and the UK. We're talking about past films made in the 80s, 90s, arguably peaking with Infernal Affairs. And so what I wanted to do was explore Hong Kong, because the infrastructure is there. You used to be the apex, the creative jewel of Asia in the eyes of international markets before Korea took over. So I see it as the infrastructure is there, the cast and crew are there, and it's worth exploring the new generation of talent. You know, who are the new Tony Leung and Andy Lau? Who are the future generation of Hong Kong who are uplifting it, who are making these incredible movies and shows? But realizing that I can't just talk the talk, I need to walk the walk, I decided let's make an attempt, let's make an effort and see what it's like to be filming in Hong Kong. Because essentially, if it's an underinvestment, then there's an opportunity there to essentially grow our market share and to do some exciting things within this region. So we shot a movie called Lockdown, well, retitled The Audition, and we shot it around the world in the US, the UK, Japan, and Hong Kong. And it was interesting to see the way that the crew in Hong Kong worked, very efficient, very tireless, and the talent. I was working with Troy Picard. So we did this film. We sold it to the US, UK, Australia, New Zealand so far. It's on Amazon Prime and Tubi. We'll just show you a few seconds. And so we had the opportunity to be working around. And what I realized was, in terms of Hong Kong, the crew are working efficiently, digitally, excitingly. The talent like Troy Picard, very professional. And it was exciting to see what can be done. But even a film like this was in the English language space. And I wanted to see what about the local market. I mean, I watched Hong Kong movies, not watching English language Hong Kong films. I was watching the works of Wong Kar-wai and so forth. So it made me want to explore who is the talent or who are the talent today. And so that led me to create a drama series, Forensic Psychologist. So again, stepping aside as a filmmaker and talking to you as an investor, this is what I saw when I see these faces. Commodities, stocks. No mean to be insulting to the talent, many of them are my friends, but I see it as this is a generation who are well regarded, highly skilled, and very well known here in Hong Kong. On the other hand, when you take them out of the Southeast Asia region and you put them in the UK or the US, they're not well known. But can we make them well known? Can we build their brand value? Can we grow them? Because if we can grow their talent in the way that we have successfully achieved in Hong Kong, then their brand value grows, the managers are happy, and I'm super happy because the projects that they're doing for me grow in value. And so what I did was I engaged with certain people in the US and UK, and you'll be hearing from them in a second, with the idea of instead of shooting it first in Britain, which was the original plan, let's do this series in Hong Kong. Let's do it in Cantonese. Let's make it local. Let's work with the local crew in Hong Kong, work with a great DP, Henry Chong did most of the episodes, and see and really showcase the talent of Hong Kong today, the young talent today, and show why these people, these incredible people, hardworking, are really the future of Hong Kong. So we made this series about a psychologist who interviews criminals to decide if they're mentally fit to stand trial. Again, going back to universal themes like John Woo has so effectively done.
I'm Dr. Mandy Chung.你而家係一個嫌疑犯。我嘅工作唔係去判斷你有冇罪。
不如我問返你啊，你有啲咩想同我講？
我唔係你嘅辯護律師，亦都唔係你嘅檢控官。
你為工作推開所有想同你最 close 嘅人，為咩？為佢哋。
我嘅責任只係判斷你適唔適宜上庭應訊。
呢個係我責任嚟㗎。
我唔係你嘅治療師。
Shall we begin?
Looking at that, and sorry, I just realized I never actually explained my background. I'm not this crazy filmmaker who decides let's do stuff in Hong Kong. My background is actually in finance and banking. So I used to work for Barclays. We did fund management. I developed an award-winning impact fund. I worked with a producer of The King's Speech to make an ESG media fund. But I also worked in film and TV investment. So essentially, we'd be given a pile of money, and we'd be deciding what to invest in. And so projects which we selected included Line of Duty, which became the most watched series in Britain in the 21st century, The Handmaid's Tale, which became a big behemoth for Hulu, and various other films and shows. And so it was trying to take that mindset, that mentality of exploring what works in the West and trying to approach it in the East while noting there are cultural differences. There is a disconnect, a divide, but that makes sense. What can we do that really approaches the West? What can we do that works in Asia? And do something special that appeals to both sides. And so in the case of this show, I wanted to work with different demographics. So you've seen from the cast, it ranges from a Hong Kong Film Award winner, Crystal Konsunji, to Locker Lam from Trial and Error, from Chan Ying at TVB, to Justin Chongkin Singh with Starlight. It was an approach to try to look at this talent, exploring them, connecting them in a different way, and to also take them outside their comfort zone, and to see, can they, what are the capabilities? Can I push them to the limit in a humane way? So in the case of Loco, who's known for comedy of Trial and Error, I really wanted to see, can he explore drama, and he was fantastic on this show, as well as everyone involved. So again, it goes back to forgetting about Asia for a moment, forgetting about the West for a moment, universally what works. I saw an opportunity, let's grow the talent brand. I saw another opportunity, let's look at universal themes. The third one was, of course, why don't we begin? We've began with lockdown, the audition, but now let's look at investing in the local cast and crew. And they are fantastic. They work effectively and efficiently from decades of this industry growing. There's a reason why Hong Kong was at the top of its game. It still is. It's just focused or shifted to the mainland market. It's a huge population, it's a huge demographic, there are opportunities, I understand that. But that leaves a gap in the market which is currently filled with Jean-Claude Van Damme and Steven Seagal films. And I saw an opportunity, let's work with a broader talent base, let's work with Oscar winners, Golden Globe winners, let's work with the creme de la creme in terms of everything from cast to content creators. And essentially, let's optimize the IP. So the next person I'm going to play is Debbie Mason. So a quick context before I play her video. So Debbie has been involved with an English language version of Forensic Psychologist. She's also been supporting with his Cantonese version. Debbie co-founded Kudos, which is the UK's biggest production company. She then sold it for £37 million and then partnered with Liz Murdoch, formed another company, sold that, formed 10 more channels, sold those, and is now working with me. So she sees everything in terms of figures, in terms of what's the potential possibility, how can we grow it, and essentially make a profit from it. And so she's been working effectively with us, and she gave this message.
Hi, my name is Debbie Mason. I am CEO of Mason Media Matrix, and in my former life was co-founder of Kudos Productions. Bizhan of Phoenix Waters has kindly asked me to speak to you today, although briefly. about the current international template for collaboration, really. So I don't think there's ever been a better time for international co-production. I think whether you're looking at original formats or reversioning existing formats, I think now the TV financing model really begs for this collaboration. And I think all independent producers need to be looking across the waters, wherever they are, to share in their skills and their talent and to help finance really good, strong, high-end dramas and entertainment formats. I'm a great believer in collaboration as a path to success. I think it's the most exciting time. I think whether you're looking at in-camera talent or behind-camera talent, I think the opportunities are huge, and I encourage you all to really broaden your horizons and work from day one in creating exciting international formats. I've been working with Phoenix Waters and Bizhan in the last couple of years on Forensic Psychologist, and I think the talent that there is in Hong Kong and the way you approach production and where our bar is in Europe and the UK and America, which is very high. We've got a really high bar now for drama. I think if you bring those two worlds together, then I think you can create something really exciting and that will be truly in demand. So I really encourage you all, look outside the box and box clever, and hopefully meet some of you sometime. And thank you very much, Bizhan and Phoenix Waters. Have a good conference. Thank you. Bye.
So I'm going to play one more video. So Nicola Piercy, she's the CEO of Picnic Entertainment. She was also the president of Lionsgate, UK and Europe. She oversaw the John Wick franchise, Hunger Games franchise, Expendable franchise, La La Land, Knives Out, and so forth. So she and I have also been engaged both on the English language version of the show, but also the Cantonese version since the start. And we've been working together on some future productions.
Hello FILMART, I hope you're having a fantastic market. My name is Nicola Piercy. I was formerly at Lionsgate, Disney and also MGM. And today I am CEO of Picnic Entertainment. We've been in regular contact with Phoenix Water Productions and with Bizhan about the opportunity to remake local language content into English language, which we're really excited about, in addition to building out co-production opportunities between the East and West. I think the Oscars themselves are testament to the opportunity and sheer interest in building content that connects stars from all backgrounds, both in front of the screen and behind the screen, between the East and West. Our market is ever changing, it's ever challenging, I don't think there's any doubt about that. So our goal really is to unite great people from across the world and to create great content on a global scale. Financing of indie films and series is ever challenging. So for us, our view is that it's really vital for us to address this front on by optimizing co-pro opportunities and co-financing opportunities wherever tenable. We don't do enough of it, in my opinion. There's a lot of untapped potential, which is why we're really excited to be talking more and more with companies in the East, and in particular at this time with Phoenix Waters. So I think essentially by us working together more proactively, bringing together voices, bringing together creativity, and absolutely commerciality, then those voices from a variety of backgrounds and perspectives really should only enable us to serve a wider scope of exciting content and give us the ability to get more content financed right from the outset. Wishing for FILMART a successful market and look forward to talking with you further.
So, I've done a drama series, let's move on. Let's explore film space. Again, what you've been doing is tremendously effective. It's exciting. I watch your movies all the time, mainly because I want to see who the local talent is. Mainly I want to know who the producers and the directors here in Hong Kong who are making such exciting films. And my intent has never been to compete in that space. I'll be crushed like a caterpillar under a wheel. What my intent has always been is, can we build bridges between the East and West? I'm saying it again. And so it made sense to me to let's look at a US film. Let's look at a US movie that worked effectively. In this case, 5-time Oscar nominee Richard Linklater made a film called Tape, Sundance hit, Toronto hit, and it starred Ethan Hawke and Uma Thurman. And so I reached out to the original team and the original creator as well, Steve Belber, and I explained my intent to retell the story, but make it as a local movie, make it as a local Hong Kong film, local cast, local crew, and showcase that the talent of today are just as good as Ethan Hawke, just as good as Uma Thurman, just as good as the greats. There is no difference. There's no sense of superiority or inferiority. The talent here is exceptional, and I want to showcase that. We also wanted to create the constraints that existed in the original production to show that no matter what challenges are faced by us, that we can achieve it by working together. And so we had the opportunity to make this film, and Steve Belber has also very kindly recorded a message. A quick note about Steve. So this Friday, he has a new movie coming out in theaters in the US, starring Corey Stoll from Billions and Ant-Man. Netflix last month announced that he's the creator and co-showrunner of a new series called The Madness. He's a writer and director who's made films with Jennifer Aniston, Woody Harrelson, Patrick Stewart, and so forth. So he's very much at the top of his game.
Hi, this is Steve Belber, and I want to just take a second to talk about why I think the divide between Asian and US markets, East and West markets, needs to be bridged more proactively than we have done in the past, and why Bizhan Tong's adaptation of my play and movie tape for a post-Me Too world in an Asian market is a hugely important step towards bridging that divide. Sexual assault is an explosive, it's an intimate, it's a delicate subject. The adaptation that Bizhan and his collaborators have come up with treats it very carefully, treats it with a smart, intelligent, very contemporary take. This is obviously it's a global issue that gets talked about differently in different cultures, and there's been great nuance brought to it, but it is still a universal topic. And the idea of my piece of work from 20 years ago being brought into this moment now and exposed to audiences that otherwise would never talk about it, never see it, and never have a chance to talk about it after having seen a smart and thoughtful adaptation is just a very important moment. So I'm really grateful to be involved, and I think that as an artist, it's exactly what I want to do with my work. Thanks so much.
So Steve also watched the movie and very kindly left this message. And what I loved about it was when he says the actors are great and the final epilogue sequence is really quite moving. The actual epilogue here is different to the original film. And it's a testament again to the talent that Selena Lee, Lee Se-wah, Kenny Kwan, Adam Pak, Summer Chan, Mason Fong, and Angus Young gave absolutely riveting, very exhilarating, exciting, and intimate performances. And again, showcases that they are just as good as the original team, and we should stop looking at Asian cinema from an international perspective as being somehow different or lesser than, because they're the films that inspired me, they're the films that inspire many of us here today. And we want to be telling those stories, we want to be working effectively and connectedly with the local market. You know, with Colin Kwok, who was the cinematographer of this film, with everyone on the crew side and on the talent side. So let's talk about Chongqing Mansions. So we actually have more than 2 projects, but I know that's the one that's on most people's mind. So let's talk about that. So last year, 14th of March, 2022, 1-year anniversary, we announced Chongqing Mansions. We had already been building out our Asian cast, so Japan, Rina Takeda, we had Singapore, Korea, I'm trying to go through, Thailand, and Hong Kong. And of course, we had Selena Lee, Jeannie Chan, and of course, we made the announcement of Anson Lo from the boy band Mirror. So in a carefully coordinated announcement. So it was interesting. The response was exceptional, and then it became very interesting in the days that unfolded. And it made me think that we need to delay. We need to make sure that this is at the top of its game. We need to make sure we have the best from the US side, from the UK side, to do a film like this justice, and other issues. So we wanted to tell the story in the best possible way, and we are moving ahead with this production, but it'll be later this year. So Chongqing Mansions last year, the plan was to bring the international market to Hong Kong. Let's bring in the stars across Asia. Let's bring in the stars from America, from the UK, and so forth. and film it in Hong Kong, make it authentic. Let's use a local Hong Kong crew. Let's really make this essentially the train to Busan for Hong Kong. But then we decided let's do something else instead. We remade tape, and instead we moved another project forward, so Hostage Crisis. So while Chungking was about bringing people to Hong Kong, Hostage Crisis was about exporting the talent. Let's have today's Hong Kong talent, today's Hong Kong stars, in the US. Let's make a fun, exciting action thriller. I can't talk too much about the plot just yet, but it's about a hostage negotiator, hence the title, in LA, who faces a team of people from Hong Kong who are there to take back the money that was stolen from them. It's a story of East and West, of justice and so forth. We've already been building out our US cast, our UK cast, and our Hong Kong cast, but we won't be announcing it today. We'll be doing that closer to the time of the shoot. So those are two projects. We also have Crypto Keepers, drama series, and various others which we're not talking about. We're also working on another adaptations. We did tape. There's an even bigger title which we're working on. We're just finalizing the deal. So now I'd like to move on to Guy Orlebar, the CEO of Agog Films.
So my name is Guy Orlebar, Adam Guy Orlebar Garrett. I'm both a film producer at Agog Films and a film financier at New Asia Ferrell, both here in Hong Kong. And in my section today, we will cover both quickly. We have two sets of groups in the audience today. We have both regular FILMART attendees, but we also have prospective movie investors. So I'd like to give a big thank you today, firstly for those prospective investors for coming and joining, but also to the Hong Kong chapter of the CAIA organization, that's the Chartered Alternative Investment Analyst Association, as well as to the HKTDC, the Hong Kong Trade Development Council, who are the organizers for today's event and who kindly facilitated for us to bring these prospective investors in. So thank you to everyone. On the topic of CAIA, so they've been very supportive of me over the last year, me doing several media-related, investment-related events. So since time is short, do please check out my webinars another time. The QR code on the left is for a webinar shot in April. It does have Chinese subtitles. And the one on the right is actually a seminar which I presented last December in Singapore at the Comic-Con there. That only has English subtitles at the moment, but we'll add Chinese later on. Let's talk about the projects at Agog Films first. Similar to Phoenix Waters, our focus at Agog Films is matching top Asian talent to international projects. Our particular focus, which plays heavily to our strengths, is, although not limited to, genre projects, action, sci-fi, fantasy. This South China Morning Post article from 2021 lists the top 10 Asian action stars currently active today. We already have ready access to most of these names, and those we don't already have access to, if we have the right project and the investment in place, through our industry connections, it should also be very straightforward to get the projects to them for their consideration. We don't just look at existing, well-established actors either. We also do a lot of analysis to find up-and-coming talent. Here, blue shows world-famous action stars. Red shows action stars who appear on the verge of breaking out with major Hollywood success. And yellow indicates someone with immense potential. But at Agog Films, we don't wait for luck to happen. We are very keen to make our own luck. Once we identify such talent, we proactively find the right projects for them in order to become their trusted partners on the next stages of their careers, so that we all ultimately benefit. Obviously, a lot of the names here in blue have very strong connections to Hong Kong and China. But interestingly, so do most of the names in red and orange as well. Kurata Yasuaki was close friends with Bruce Lee and has starred in many Hong Kong and China films. Lina Takeda, last November, was in Hong Kong shooting for season 2 of UTV's karate drama Warriors Within, with Mira's Ansem Kong. And we're back in, as Bizhan also mentioned, back in Hong Kong this autumn, shooting as part of Phoenix Waters' Chungking Mansions, alongside Anson Lo. Juju Chan is from Hong Kong and recently has been in a number of Netflix action shows. We're partnering with her and her husband, and Hong Kong action director Anthony Zetto, on a number of their international projects. And Luna Fujimoto in the corner, she's half Japanese, half Mandarin. She starred in the hit Chinese movie Monster Hunt 2, and she speaks fluent English, Japanese, and Mandarin. So as I mentioned earlier, Agog Films was set up to develop exciting international genre projects involving talent from Asia. We started in 2007 when we shot our first movie, Lost in Love, with Hong Kong action star Gordon Liu, Lau Gar-fai, Liu Jiahui, and also with Yip-Sai Wing from Hong Kong's #1 rock band, Beyond. More recently, we collaborated with Phoenix Waters on a couple of projects. So I directed one of the episodes of Forensic Psychologist, and Agog Films came on board as an associate producer for Tape. At Agog Films, we currently have many projects in development. The two most developed projects are these two. Sentinels is an action pulp sci-fi movie from the creative mind of the world's #1 fantasy artist, Patrick Jones. For Sentinels, we're targeting to shoot in Australia next year. My Indian Boyfriend, some of you in the audience might recognize that poster. That was a successful Cantonese Bollywood love drama in Hong Kong 2 years ago by Hong Kong director Sri Kishore. We're now working on a Japanese remake starring a major Japanese actress and a member of the winning Indian dance team, The Unbeatable, from America's Got Talent Champions, so the best of the best, season 2. This will also be shot next year. We have many other projects in development too. There's a lot we can't publicly announce yet, but these are across a wide range of genres, budgets, and geographies, including several new major Hollywood projects with top US filmmakers. If you are interested in co-financing, co-producing, or distributing any of these, let's talk afterwards. Let's talk more about the investment side. I joined New Asia Ferrell early last year with a mandate to expand our alternatives business, specifically to match Asian institutional investors and Asia-based high net worth individuals with high quality, low risk, highly diversified international movie projects. Whereas media investment by buy-side financial firms is very common in Hollywood, this is currently very rare in Asia, and is probably due to two factors. One, plenty of other asset classes, such as real estate, to invest in. And two, lack of deal flow access. Our mission at New Asia Ferrell is to change this, and to bring Hollywood quality projects, typically with strong Asian elements, to investors across Asia. Firstly, let me take a quick step back and mention that, in general, media assets are a great way to diversify your portfolio. If you have a typical portfolio of 60% equities and 40% bonds, and if we use the weekly global box office numbers as a proxy for investing in media assets, we see that the portfolio volatility greatly decreases and the annual return increases. This is, of course, because the performance of media asset classes are relatively uncorrelated with more traditional assets. Over the past few years, alternative investors have been very interested in crypto, but got burnt badly last year. Whereas crypto assets may be virtual assets with no intrinsic value, media as an asset class is very real, and in Hollywood is a very established asset class. Hence, it's our goal at New Asia Ferrell to make investing in media projects as an equally established asset class here in Asia. So who are the typical buy-side firms active in Hollywood? You can see for yourself from this list, which comes from a recent Business Insider article, which is updated every year. There are some very, very big names here. Some of these companies are also active in Hong Kong, but not, to my knowledge, in the media space. So what are the benefits of investing in media, both for the investors and the content creators themselves? Let me share with you this Reuters quote. In short, by making a movie or TV show before selling the content to distributors or stream platforms, this allows you to create a bidding war from different buyers to maximize the possible selling price. It also allows creatives, the director of the movie or the showrunner of the TV show, to retain full creative control, allowing you and everyone to ultimately end up with a better product, a better movie, a better TV show, which can then be sold for a higher price. So it's a win-win, and the opportunities are immense. So what type of projects do we invest in? We aren't interested in securing the rights for major IP. Why? Because if it's a famous IP, which everyone knows and has high expectations on, it's very hard to match those incredibly high expectations. These ratings come from Rotten Tomatoes. It is much better to take IP that has strong potential as a movie, i.e. great script, great characters, and then match it with top talent. For example, in these cases, a director like Robert Rodriguez, an actress like Natalie Portman, or a megastar like Tom Cruise. If you do that, then these are the type of scores that you can get. Note that Black Swan and Edge of Tomorrow, which were both based on Japanese IP, didn't even try to promote their original source material. Also, please note that one of our movie fund advisors was the executive producer of Edge of Tomorrow, so he has strong experience already in adapting the right Asian IP. I won't go through these charts today, again because time is short. Essentially what we've done is a lot of analysis for different genres, in this case action movies, to determine typical expected return, how this changes based on the budget and quality of the script, and how to boost the expected return and minimize the expected risks. Here are the key members of our fund and our backgrounds. All four of us have strong banking and finance backgrounds, as well as strong media experience. Hidemi Fukuhara was the executive producer of Edge of Tomorrow, as I mentioned a moment ago. And Jason Lin, he's been very active in both Hollywood and the China film industries for many years. Besides his own projects focusing on Asian Americans, he also represents Jet Li in LA.
So you've heard from us in terms of what Phoenix Waters has been doing, what Agog Films has been doing. And so we saw ourselves as being aligned in our values. So for that reason, we thought to ourselves, let's partner up. So I'm pleased to say that we have launched Phoenix Waters Asia. So the intent for us is let's catalyze this, let's expedite it. It's been working effectively. We've done forensic psychologists, we've done tape, we've got other projects moving forward. So why do we need to slow down? Why don't we go bigger, expand, work with more partners? Let's work with the local industries. Let's start working on more third-party productions with filmmakers across Asia. So Guy will be focusing on Australia, India, and Japan. I myself will be focusing on Hong Kong, Singapore, Malaysia, and Korea. And the intent is to really focus on working with local producers, directors, filmmakers, writers. Let's catalyze, let's invest into the Asian film industry, into the Hong Kong film industry. Let's get those voices heard by working with people like, you've already heard from Debbie Mason, you've heard from Nicola Piercy, two top people in the industry internationally who are among our advisors. By working with them and working with you, we can tell these stories, make great movies within Hong Kong, within Singapore, Japan, and so forth, and bring them out to the international market. So when I talk about building bridges between the East and West, this is what I mean. As an investment point of view, there is a channel there is an opportunity there is a big, wide world market out there. And so what you've been doing has been fantastic in terms of local films. I watch them, I love them. It's been great in terms of the co-productions that you do with mainland China. I watch them with such great verve, such excitement. But at the same time, we want to be doing and seeing more international output, more international market. And so we're excited to be partnering to do so.
These are our core businesses. So development and packaging, private placement financing, and production and sales. The key point about our new company is we're a very small core team, but we have very strong, trusted, creative production partners, and therefore we have a very nimble, scalable business with tremendous growth opportunities. Thanks very much. Thanks for coming.